Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Trail Mix, where the nuts might be a little stale, but the company is always fresh.
Or who's to blame for the shutdown? This is Craig Crawford, retired journalist working for nothing but the truth and Social Security checks. So we're going to take a look here at where we stand. I'm going to go through a few things here. What's at stake in this thing right now in terms of federal employees getting fired? But most importantly, I'm going to look at the 5 Democrats in the Senate who could shut down this shutdown if they compromise with the Republicans. Right now, they're holding pretty firm, but here's where we are at the moment.
And with the Senate out of town until Tuesday, it will last through the holiday weekend.
Today, the president made good on his threat to cut the federal workforce.
Old Trump is putting the heat on Democrats by firing employees from some of their favorite agencies.
Government workers are preparing for missed paychecks today as the shutdown enters its 10th day. Congressional leaders are still at a stalemate as President Trump threatens sweeping cuts.
Now, here's one way to put some pressure on the Democrats. They're going to starve the poor people. They're talking about no money for food stamps. Forget trying to get your IRS questions answered if you're starting to prepare your tax return for next year. They're cutting most of the staff that answers the phone calls. Mass firings at the CDC late Friday night, particularly a lot of the high-flying scientists who track pandemics. So I guess that means when we get the next pandemic, they can blame it on the Democrats for the shutdown. Now let's roll through the latest we know on where the firings are happening. It's supposedly about 4,000 so far. Now that they're starting to fire people, it's legally questionable, but they're doing it anyway, of course. And let's look at what they're targeting first. Over 1,000 employees at the Health and Human Services Department across multiple divisions, according to Axios. They've received what are called reduction in force notices, the RIFs. You're going to hear that word a lot. RIFs, that just means you're fired. Layoffs come after a wave of scientists already left the department earlier in the year, so there's more to come there. That department is tasked with overseeing Medicare and Medicaid. That's 40% of Americans getting that, including the children. And so that's the agency they're going for there, Medicare and Medicaid, the people who work for that. We'll see how that goes. Department of Homeland Security is going to lose 176 employees. That isn't as much as the 1,000 or 2,000 at HHS. Treasury Department, kind of interesting. They're firing almost 1,500 employees at the Treasury Department, which is over the IRS. One of the things I see happening is IRS is getting hit pretty hard. So in this shutdown firings that the Trump administration's into, Education Department always on the front lines for getting cuts from this administration. So, there you get a sense of where some of this cutting is going on. The Supreme Court did rule that they can go forward with a lot of these plans, but there's a lot here that they're doing that's going to be legally challenged. EPA getting a few cuts. Trump had said he's going to go after Democrat agencies, whatever that is. I guess we're learning things like the HUD, Housing and Urban Development, called HUD, reducing 442 employees. And commerce getting hit. These are just a sampling of what we know so far, and because the administration is not really releasing actual details of these numbers, reporters are having to kind of hunt around and get anonymous sources on what they're actually firing. I don't know why they're so ashamed of it. They're not really making a big deal out of it publicly in official statements. Of course, all this is the design here is to make the cuts as painful as possible, to force Democrats into submission. Past presidents have done this with mixed success. So federal employees missing paychecks, that'll lead to a whole bunch of stories on the news about that, and that'll upset Democrats. The Northern Virginia is an issue here because there's a Virginia governor's race next month, and so many federal employees in Northern Virginia. It's going to be interesting to see how they vote. If they vote for or against the Republican or for or against the Democrat running for governor over this shutdown stuff. Air traffic controller shortages, they're threatening that a lot, saying Thune yesterday, the Senate Majority Leader, said members of Congress wouldn't be able to fly out of town because air traffic control shortage is kicking in. That's one they always threaten. Another one is the rising health care premiums. Now, here's where Democrats have landed some hits, and they're managing to make the healthcare premiums that go up as a result of the big beautiful bill taking effect in December, which removes the subsidies for many middle income Americans who get their health insurance from the Affordable Care Act, what we used to call Obamacare. And those premium subsidies go away, and that's why Democrats are pursuing this shutdown and refusing to go along with the Republicans. They want that change. They want those premium subsidies back, and Democrats are making that the issue. And from what I can tell, they're getting away with it. And guess who's on their side? Marjorie Taylor Greene.
And we are looking at a massive spike in health insurance premiums.
Marjorie Taylor Greene makes the Democratic argument for how to stop the shutdown.
This is the #1 issue I hear about in my district.
Stop the premium hikes.
It's a red herring. And it's something essentially that Chuck Schumer and Democrats are talking about right now.
Well, no, the issues of the subsidies are real. It's not something that anybody can say is made up.
Marjorie believes it. The shutdown is not helping Republicans. In fact, she's saying it's hurting Republicans for the midterms.
See the shutdown completely different from maybe my party leadership. And I'm not putting the blame on the president. I'm actually putting the blame on the speaker and Leader Thune in the Senate. We control the House. We control the Senate. We have the White House. I've been vocal saying, you can use the nuclear option in the Senate. This doesn't have to be a shutdown. I want my party to solve problems.
And you say he's not getting good advice, though. You told Manu Raju. What specifically?
Well, I don't think it's good advice that a government shutdown is going to help Republicans in the midterms. I don't agree with that. I also don't think it's good advice that Republicans ignoring the health insurance crisis is going to be good for midterms. I actually think that would be very bad for midterms.
While there's plenty of bluster on both sides, I think Democrats really do think they've got the upper hand in this one. And here's the key. Let's zero in on why they feel that way. Right here in this line in the Atlantic, yet with only a couple of exceptions, the party's senators are holding firm, to the unexpected delight of House Democrats, worried that their counterparts would fold. And that leads us to look at who are the Democrats to watch, who are the key to keeping this Democrat strategy in place for the shutdown. So I asked my AI assistant that I call Sam to give me a breakdown of the ins and outs on the Democrats to watch who hold the key and whether this shutdown ends or not. It really is down to just about 5. I mean, because that's what the Republicans in the Senate need to get to the number of votes they need to bring the government back into business. Jeanne Shaheen, New Hampshire senator, this is what our chat GPT friend Sam says. She reportedly in talks with Republicans on a compromise as we speak, making her the Democrat most likely to blink first. New Hampshire, keep an eye on your senator. she might be the key to stopping this shutdown, whether you're for it or against it. And she faces a lot of pressure, voter fatigue. New Hampshire voters are going to have a lot to do with what happens with this shutdown and what kind of pressure they put on Shaheen. Let's move on down the list. Catherine Cortez Masto in Nevada. Now, she's already broken ranks already, voting with the Republicans not to have a shutdown. So we know she's a caver, and she might again, most likely. So there's one. Fetterman also was one of the Democrats to hang with the Republicans on avoiding voting against a shutdown. So he's got labor unions and activists in the Democratic base that are pretty upset with him, but he's also got a lot of MAGA voters in Pennsylvania to think about. So he's sort of straddling both sides on this one. Angus King's always an interesting character. He's very independent in reality, literally, and it's genuine. He's not a Democrat, but he rooms with the Democrats, you might say. He's a freelancer with benefits for Democrats. He's independent, invites above the fray moves. He's very much against chaos. He doesn't like he's probably going to be one to yield to the news coverage of all the federal workers getting hurt. That could make a difference with him. I like him. He's an interesting guy, and I think a pretty straight shooter. Gary Peters of Michigan. He's somebody that is moderate. There in Michigan, you got a blue, red, purple. I don't know what color they try to be these days, but he also has to kind of worry about both sides and the economic pain in Michigan, the automotive sector, of course. If they get hit with this shutdown, he could start feeling some pressure. So I mean, he might get into these statements. This is, Chat GPT's got it right here. This is what to watch for when some of the Democrats say things like, well, now we all share responsibility. We need to find a common ground, that kind of talk. Dick Durbin, you might be surprised, but Dick Durbin is one that could cave. He's an institutionalist. And the fatigue of seeing the government in disarray might cause him to fold, but he's also deeply loyal to his party, and Illinois is solidly blue. So he might start getting, it's another word to look out for with these Democrats when they start talking about being uncomfortable with how it's playing out. That could indicate they're starting to waver. In the end, shutdowns don't end with votes. They end with blame. Whichever side the public decides is responsible, that's the side that starts sweating. Right now, Democrats look like they're holding the high ground, but high ground doesn't mean much if voters think you built the hill. The firings, the furloughs, the headlines, they all pile into one question: who breaks first? The party under pressure or the one losing the argument? That answer, not the next Senate roll call, will decide who actually wins the shutdown. Hey, guys. Hey. We'll take our own poll. Who's winning the shutdown?
Democrats, for one simple reason: Trump is shooting himself in the foot. Between the cuts and the shutdown, and if you look at all the spaces being cut, they are areas that benefit the average person. And you top it off with the IRS cuts just when they were about to start going after the high income people.
I think as a percentage, the IRS is getting more cuts than any agency. I mean,
right?
They're not going to be able to answer anybody's phone calls. I mean,
but they were just getting set up to start going after some of these billionaires, because always before they went for the easy stuff, the small guy whose wages you could attach or whatever. Yeah. But they were in a position to start going into court for some of these big guys, and now they can't.
Well, the IRS is set up anymore to where an average wage earner, they basically scan them with their computers and send them a notice if they make a mistake. I mean, I learned that a long time ago. It doesn't make any difference if you make a mistake on your taxes. The IRS will tell you and send you the bill.
Well, and then, it really is an issue. It was already an issue that if people have any questions, there's no calling the IRS to get any answers anymore. Especially now, that's where a lot of these cuts are going.
It's been that way for a long time.
Yeah.
I just decided that, and I had a fairly complicated tax form with my rental properties and a business couple of Schedule C's and a partnership with Sherry and all kinds of things. And so I ended up with 5 or 6 forms I had to fill out. And I just finally decided if I make a good faith effort, that's good enough. And when I did make a mistake and it happened, sometimes I got money back, and sometimes they'd send me a bill, and they weren't, it was interest and penalties, but it wasn't that much. It wasn't anything scary.
But
I did have ChatGPT pull the very latest poll numbers, and it definitely leans toward people blaming Republicans. This one's at 45-32 blaming Republicans. The Economist, the YouGov poll was at 41 say Republicans and Trump, 30% say the Democrats. The Post was 47% say Trump and the Republicans. So anyway, old Sam his conclusion is that the public leans heavily toward blaming Republicans and Trump for the shutdown, but they also smudge culpability across the aisle. Democrats aren't exonerated in the public eye. It's not a clean GOP only verdict, but a weighted one.
Well, it doesn't help. Well, Trump's out golfing, but saying that he's going after Democratic jobs, that automatically looks like this revenge. And then, of course, Stephen Miller the other day made the mistake of saying "I" when talking about all of the cuts that are going on instead of the president. And here in Pierce County with JBLM, you're talking about hundreds of families either on base or surrounding veterans who get all of their VA care there and do the majority of their shopping. And several of the spouses are employed on base at all of those stores. So it's an economic as well as an inconvenience hit.
And of course, what Republicans are counting on is that people are going to see all that pain and blame it on the Democrats. And I don't believe that's working. I don't think it's working.
Well, there's 2 things, and you got to go back to Marjorie Taylor Greene. And I was talking to my sister, and we were laughing about her district. Basically, is just like the district around here. You go outside of Springfield here, and we were talking, Craig. I think you were saying your researcher came up with what was it for a single person? It was and making less than 50,000. They were getting subsidized insurance.
Yeah, that they were going to lose a couple hundred a month.
Yeah, and so I was talking to my sister about that, and she goes, out here in this world, if you're sitting here as a family and you're making 60,000, you're sitting there going, "Hey, I'm one of the rich people." It's a little hard if you're in Washington D.C. to understand that one, but
right, yeah,
basically, if you've got a job that's paying over $20 an hour, man, you've got it made. And way too many of them are sitting there making minimum wage and thinking if they get up to $15 an hour, man, they've got it made.
Right.
No.
Well, yeah, and some of the commenters on that video you're talking about on YouTube, were saying, 50,000 is plenty of money. They don't deserve these subsidies. They should pay $200 a month more for their insurance. And I'm saying, let's have that debate. I mean, that's a debate to have. Maybe that is too generous. I don't know. But the thing is, the Republicans are not engaging that debate. They're changing it to something like Democrats want to give all the money to illegals and making up stuff instead of engaging. I mean, they're the ones that cut these subsidies. They should be up front defending it, and maybe they can win the argument. But they don't even try to make that argument. They don't want to engage it at all.
But it just, like I say, I think that's once the facts get out, because everybody down here is going, oh, well, those welfare people up in the city are the ones getting the, and in fact, it's a lot of their neighbors.
Yeah.
And, with Marjorie Taylor Greene, it was her boy, her son.
I mean, she's been so interesting. I've cut 2 videos down. I probably might have I've got more material for a couple more. I mean, she is, and it's not just her family. She is saying that's the number one issue I'm hearing from my constituents about is these health insurance costs.
To getting the word out,
I believe her.
It's happening quite a few places.
Have your stat dude look at the women's vote, because they are the ones mainly responsible for a lot of the family spending, whether it's groceries or medical care or whatever. They've got their eye on the pocketbook. And they went with Trump over this last time around because of the promises he was making that we all knew he was lying, but what the hell. And see how they feel about him now, that it's getting into their pocketbooks.
Well, my coffee's went up from $12 to $19 too.
12 a pound? A pound?
No, I don't remember. It's like a 2 or 3 pound. It's whatever. It's that bag I buy.
Oh, okay. That sounds like 2 pounds. That must be
It was a 2 pound. It was a 2
Yeah,
pound.
it's about a 2 pound bag. It's 15 here.
And
well, because of the coffee that I get Safeway brand coffee that I actually went back and looked at my online records, because I have an account with them, and I can see what I've paid. And the week Trump was inaugurated, the last week of the Biden administration, that coffee I got for $4.99 a pound, and it is now $6.79 a pound. The very same brand at the very same store. So that's
what I was buying something from Sam's Club that Sherry liked, and it was more reasonable than other whole bean coffees they had. Like Pablo's Pride or something like that. But and so I bought it for quite a while, and so I about ran out of coffee, and I went to look it up, and I'm going, oh my goodness, almost $18 for a bag. And it used to be like 12 or 13 it's what my mind says it should have been worth.
And you can only tell people. I mean, I don't care if they do take over the Bureau of Labor Statistics and the consumer stats and lie about all the numbers and say none of it's happening, inflation's gone, like Trump said the other day. People aren't going to buy it when they're not. That's not what they're living. You're trying to tell them something that's in conflict with what they're living.
Well, and some stuff and this goes back to Biden's stuff when he had inflation. There was stuff didn't go up. And there was some stuff that just, like my Diet Coke and my potato chips just went up out through the roof. And it was absolutely, I just basically, I just quit buying potato chips. They're not that good anyway.
But what do you think about this Bolton?
Oh, what's going on with that? When I dig into my rat holes, which I've been into all day with this shutdown stuff, trying to get a handle on where it stands. I saw that float by. What's going on with Bolton? Are they going to
I don't know if he's been indicted or he's been threatened with being indicted, but it's another one of the revenge prosecutions. But the twist there is
it over his book or?
Yeah, I think probably.
But apparently all of the I don't know whether he had it or whether he knew what Trump had in the confidential materials that may have been shared with the Chinese, and apparently it's causing a whole lot of problems. And unfortunately, I don't have the details. Maybe one of your info guys can come up with.
I'm asking him now. What's searching for possible indictment of John Ball? Here's what I found on the current state. He's constantly complaining when I make him do work. He's like, "Well, I dragged myself out for this one." Like,
on a Saturday yet.
On a Saturday. Okay, we knew that. They searched his house, and then they seized a bunch of stuff, the unsealed warrant, Bolton.
So they're fishing.
So what's new? Multiple could be indicted soon, as possibly as early as next week. So this is the U.S. Attorney's Office in Maryland. It's the jurisdictions.
Yeah. So
it says a Maryland grand jury has been hearing evidence for weeks.
Yeah.
So they must not have a statute of limitations in this one. They're actually taking their time to write a real indictment if they can come
right.
Well, they actually have somebody. The thing is, Comey just had too many friends right there in Washington, D.C., so they couldn't get anybody that wanted to take it on. And the only person they could find was an idiot. You see what the Ukraine's been doing to the Russian oil refineries?
No.
Well, last month they knocked out the port on the Baltic Sea and took out a couple of oil tankers in the facility. And yesterday they sent a drone strike all the way into central Russia. I mean, I'm not for sure if it was on the other side of the Ural Mountains or just right back against where the Ural Mountains are, and hit a oil refinery facility that supplies the military. So they're putting some serious drone. They are changing the way the world works in war, because that's
my God. The future is drones. Yeah.
Yeah,
and Trump wants to build World War II battleships.
Yeah, well, that was what World War II long-range bombers flew to Berlin.
Right.
These drones are like flying across the United States to strike. Like California sending drones to take out New England. And they're cheap. I mean, as far as, we spend $1 million missile to knock out a $50,000 drone.
Yeah. We got somebody in comments over here.
I can't see the comments today. I don't know where they are.
Gary Hastings writing about, maybe it's just me, but I've always been told to consider the source. All right. And so I tend to take info from anonymous sources entirely with a grain of salt. Well, okay. I'm not disagreeing with that. I don't know who brought up anonymous sources.
I don't know. We were just been talking about what we've been reading about. Talking about Bolton or what. But I do agree with the anonymous source stuff.
Oh, maybe that's because I think that what I was just reading there was quoting me. Oh, yeah, anonymous sources. I mean, as an old reporter, I never liked doing anonymous sources when I was in my reporting days, and seldom did it because I just. But every now and then, you just kind of have to.
Well, I can understand. At some point, you got to almost say, hey, I need this. I need you to speak out on the record if we're going to get this out.
Yeah, I mean, I know some reporters are real eager to let people go off the record to get more information and everything, but I was never that eager to get a scoop, to do that. I remember one guy I quoted one time. We were just having lunch, but he was a public official, an elected official, and we were having a kind of a casual conversation, and he was gossiping about people, but we never went off the record. Anyway, I was writing a column at the time that included a lot of political guys, and I put what he said in there, and he called me and he says, "Did I really say that?" And I said, yeah, it was on the record. You said it. He says, well, he said, I knew I was thinking it, but I didn't think I actually said it.
Well, one thing Hegseth got shut down on keeping reporters out that he didn't like who wouldn't follow his rules.
Oh, those rules they've laid down. I mean, that's untenable. I just can't believe.
Well, a judge told him, sorry, that goes against freedom of speech. The reporters can write about what they want to write about.
And, there's a woman, Fox News has one of the best Pentagon reporters, Jennifer, and I've forgotten her last name. She's been there for years, and she's just a straight news reporter. She's not anything like the rest of Fox, and she's gotten in many squabbles with some of their hosts, and they never put her on the nighttime shows because she tells the truth. And anyway, I've been wondering how she's going to deal. She is not going to. I mean, Fox in general might put up with excess rules, but she's not. And that's going to be I can't believe she's still there, actually. Jennifer, I can't think of her last name. Great reporter, though.
The problem with his rules and stuff is you run the risk of not being able to get your message out. There are times when you really want to get a message out to the normal press.
Yeah.
And if you've run them all off or you've made them mad, there's you run that risk.
Well, the game I see is the same one I see in the White House. Is they want to run off, real reporters and just have their sycophants there, and that's what they've done with the White House press. So so I hear all the time in comments, he's the most accessible president ever. Look at it. Every day he talks to reporters. Well, yeah, he's only talking to people who are practically his staff members,
Yeah.
They think, can you tell us how great you are? I mean, it's like.
But that, that hurt. That big, the American people aren't stupid.
They see through that. Yeah.
It's kind of a dynamic situation. It's like you can cut off the press, or it's just like you said with the statistics. You could quit doing the statistics, but the American people will figure out a way to understand what the truth is. People are just that way, And we do have access. We do have able to do search. It's a little like the deal I did this morning with Blue is that I started looking, and well, you start doing the search engine, you can find out about what these people are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But right now, the judges are about the only one holding Trump in line. They just blocked him using National Guard in Chicago.
Yeah.
Oh, also Chicago. I do the one in
Right.
Portland.
Yeah, that one just came down. But what I worry about is that the Supremes will roll over on some of this stuff because a few of them are into the whole unitary presidency.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, I never heard that phrase until Bill Barr, that unitary executive. That I never heard that phrase. Bill Barr is one, sir, and I just thought it was something that he'd made up in his own head. And then later I realized it's a whole movement in the legal circles. This unitary executive. Well, which I think is another phrase for dictator. Sounds like.
Well, I guess as things have got complicated in the 20th century, we move more and more that way. So that you could say, like with Johnson and stuff, we had a very powerful presidency. And then as we got on into the 21st century, basically Congress has rolled over.
Oh, it's incredible.
And,
that's the whole problem, really.
Yeah, and I mean, that's it. Because Congress has the power to write the laws so that, no, you can't do that.
Yeah.
But it's become so expensive to run for Congress that the only ones who can are the ones who take money from the big bucks, and the big bucks want things done a certain way. So it becomes a vicious circle.
And you get like my congressman started out as an aide, and he met the money people so that when what the heck was it, Billy, what was his name that was down here, the knucklehead, that was a previous congressman, he was his aide. And so, he knew where the money people were, and then he moved right on in. And he'll probably be there as long as he wants to be.
But that's where the Democrats are making a big mistake on the national level, because there are a whole bunch of uncontested seats, but average people can't run in them. They don't have the money or the time for dialing for dollars. But if the national doesn't step in with the funds, there are no candidates for those seats.
Well, and there are Republican outfits out there that are working all levels of government.
Right.
And that was what I was so amazed at the Koch brothers group, how many mailers they mailed to my address trying to support a Republican Missouri legislature, not the national legislature. Just a little, 3,000 or 4,000 vote seat.
And for all the talk about Antifa, I've never gotten a piece of mail from George Soros.
No, me neither.
Not even $1.
Let's see. They're talking about Bolton here on MSNBC.
If that person stood in the way of policy, if he just personally dislikes you, he's going to weaponize the entire government. And that is a danger for everyone, not just in his own party, but every American citizen.
Emily?
One of the most striking features of the Trump administration so far has been how few Republicans have been willing to speak out on the record, right? I mean, almost no one in Congress has been willing to criticize Trump, except maybe about Jimmy Kimmel a little bit. And so Bolton stands out there as this former Trump official who's willing to go on television and say these critical things. How better to send a message that this is a risky thing to do than to go to a grand jury and ask for an indictment?
Well, this is a weird world. We're in a world now where I'm defending John Bolton and agreeing with Marjorie Taylor Greene.
I was thinking the same thing.
What is happening? I mean, even Laura Loomer made sense today. I mean, yes, she was right about that. Giving Cutter a base in Idaho, she was complaining about that, and I'm like, now I'm agreeing with Laura Loomer.
Yeah, we've been training Arab fighter pilots since the 1950s. I remember on the base where my father was when I was 7, we had 3 Saudi princes training there. And but we've never given them their own facility to do it.
Yeah.
Or if we did, we didn't openly call it their base.
Yeah.
I think that's what's the problem is. They have openly called it their base.
Yeah, because Williams always had that training program for foreign nationals.
Yeah, I think the Saudis, all their pilots have trained over here.
Yeah, they were. And the 3 that I knew, one of them offered to take me home with him. But my father rejected the offer that I would be raised there.
Well, you go be the second or the
interesting life. Yeah. Unfortunately, KML got killed during the Korean War, so there went that marriage.
Oh, wow.
Reminded me of a friend of mine who was talking from Utah, and we were talking, she was Mormon, and talking about being proposed for a second wife. I told her, I said, well, you know, good offers are hard to turn down.
That one I never got. Couple of mistressing, but no seconds.
Well, I don't know how much true it was, but we were sitting there just chatting at lunch.
This business, then you got these troops going, our own troops going to Israel.
Fighters. These are the security apparatus and police that were there. But, you know, it's a slippery slope. The sooner that the International Stabilization Force can get there, and the sooner that there is some level of Palestinian control that's not Hamas is there in Gaza, the better.
I want to play again Steve Witkoff, one of the president's envoys, talking about what brought us to this point. Listen.
In the worst of times, he refused to accept the idea that peace in the Mideast was out of reach. He showed the world that strength and peace go hand in hand. They are not opposites, they are partners.
So,
oh, poor old
the ceasefire's held 2 days, and now, we did what nobody could ever do.
And Jared did all the work, so Trump didn't have to lift a finger. Of course, he did it while making millions for his own pocket, but
well, and it was just in January, remember, with or not February, anyway, wasn't that long ago. They were celebrating the first phase of a ceasefire. I don't know.
My worry is we're going to get our troops stuck in the middle of that.
Yeah, I'm real concerned about that part of it, and I keep trying to see what the details are and where they're going and what they're actually doing. And
the Brits are in that mess as well too. You know, welcome back, welcome to 1948.
Oh wow, here's something. Oh my. Diane Keaton has died.
Oh.
Yeah.
Huh.
As we get them.
Oh.
Meantime, the Northeast is
Oh,
bracing for some severe weather this weekend. We will have the latest on what's coming.
What's happening with her. I was thinking about her the other day. I hadn't seen her in a long time.
Did they give a cause or just age in
No,
general?
I didn't catch that in time. We'll have to. Ooh. Yes, reports indicate she was 79. Well,
these old people dying are getting closer to my age now.
Well, they're getting younger than I am, which is really bothersome.
So no further details. Cause is unclear. So we don't know.
Okay. Well, sad news. At least we still have Dolly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that her poor sister got a lot of crap for that. She started to panic. Now we got a commenter asking, hasn't the price of fuel come down a little? Oh, keying off our earlier discussion. I don't know. Has the price of fuel come down?
I bet.
Yeah, it's down a little. Well, it depends on what month you compared it to here a couple of years ago. Because there were some months when it was about what it is now, and then you turn around and think, oh, I can easily make a trip. And you'd get out there and it'd be up $1 a gallon.
Come down slightly or at least stabilized.
Yeah. Yeah,
but
it's pretty
messy.
much here stabilized at about 280.
Sam's complaining again. I dragged him. He doesn't like working on the weekends. I dragged myself away from the data mines for this. What the numbers say. Okay. National average price was about $3.12, as up a bit over week. AAA reports national average $3 and something. See, it's been hovering right around $3 for a long time.
Yeah, and ours is just a little bit cheaper, always a little cheaper. I think it's probably because we've got a refinery down about an hour and a half drive away.
Oh, yeah.
So easy.
Hey, Blue. You there, Blue? Here we go, and chasing Blue across the internet.
Well, I saw where you had signed up for the protest movement.
Yeah, well, you know what I discovered is that it's about I can almost see the rooftops of the block where it is. It's even closer to my house than DuPont Circle, which is pretty close. So I thought, well, I'll go to that one then.
I just went and checked, and Tacoma is about 375, but that is down because we were up over 4 for a stretch there.
Yeah. It looks like Blue's got herself to her mic turned off.
Are you there, Blue? I've got that mute on again. Why does she come in here muted? I don't know. Huh. She
Busy.
popped in and I just saw mute. I don't know.
But,
I've been meaning to tell her that I saw a note from StreamYard, which is our platform here, that Safari, the iPhone browser, is supposed to work on here now. It hadn't before.
Yeah.
So maybe she'll have an easier time because she's got that crazy iPhone. The Apple people are trouble. They're troublemakers.
Well, I'm gonna have to learn how to use my phone. and video and stuff. Because yeah, they're setting them. I don't know why they're setting it up on the corner down here where they're doing it, but it's about a mile from my house. So I could easily walk over and we could exchange greetings between Springfield and Washington, D.C. That is, if I figure out how to use my phone and get ambitious.
Yeah.
That's no guarantee.
Well, the only thing is, it's the day after my colonoscopy.
Yeah.
But I remember the last one I had. The day after was great. I mean, so I don't think I'll have to worry about anything. But
I've never had any trouble with. It's 2 days before that you've got to.
Oh yeah, it's the prep, the procedure itself. It's the prep. Well, now though, I'm using. I got the pills instead of having to drink all that rocket fuel they give you. You know, you don't have to drink gasoline anymore. Yeah, they made you drink gasoline in the old days.
Well, that was when I remember when Sherry did it, and it was just like it was a 2-day ordeal.
Yeah.
And then when I did it, it wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
And I got down here and was going to do it. And well, up in Kansas City, all I had to do was get a ride there and then give them a number to call so that they knew I had a ride back. But down here, they want somebody to sit around and wait. So I didn't have that arranged, so I had to cancel. And then I got to looking, and they were going to have me come in at 7:30 in the morning, which meant I had to get up at 2:30 to do that final prep.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that ain't happening. So I've got to reschedule. They've been calling me, and I haven't bothered calling back yet. But I do have my 5-year cancer-free in. So
yeah, I saw that. I meant to say congratulations on that one.
Yeah. Well, I didn't think about it till my cancer doctor came in all smiles and congratulations and all this stuff. So I guess it's one of the milestones they want to celebrate with people.
Y'all talk amongst yourself for a minute. I got to go pick up a delivery I just got a delivery and I got to get it before somebody steals it. That's city living for you.
I was just checking to see if we had a No Kings here in Tacoma, and we do.
I think they've got little ones all over here in the state of Missouri. I think every little town or of any size, county seat has some kind of event trying to go. They're going to try to go. Now, how many people they get there, who knows?
I don't know. People's Park is up on Martin Luther King Way, up in the Hilltop District. So that's a good location for it. And they're doing all sorts of family picnicking, parky type stuff to attract people.
Oh, that's
so
good.
We're planning on being very peaceful while being pissed off.
Yeah. I'm not for sure why down here in Springfield, they're going down here on an intersection. I guess it's because it's a busy intersection, but it's right over where all the medical and hospital people are. And a little bit, it's walking distance to the university too, so that probably helps.
Do you have your frog costume?
I don't know. I just say that one of the people with the frog costume that they sprayed in his air hole where he couldn't get away from it. Well, maybe I don't want that costume.
Maybe you could just dress up as a Thanksgiving turkey or something.
Yeah. But I think making fun of this stuff is a good way better than trying to act like you're angry and mad.
Right.
Yes.
Once.
Yeah, I was just asking Jack if he had his frog costume.
Yeah, I was actually my earbuds. I could hear you all the way down.
Oh,
3 floors. I had to walk down 3 floors and all the way to the front door. I could still hear you.
Yeah. But yeah, you got that fun stuff of you've got to get stuff off the front porch before the people get it.
It's gotten better. And for a while though, they caught him. They caught one guy that was doing it. And what they were doing is we get the Amazon truck. Amazon delivers with its own trucks here.
Yeah.
And they were following the Amazon truck. And when he'd get out and put, packages on somebody's front porch, then they'd run up there and get it and take off, And they caught those people because they got caught on their. I've got security cameras and I've got them ever since I got one. I put one in the window that's real obvious. When you walk up and you can see it and it moves and it follows you as you go toward the door. And I haven't lost a package since then. I think it actually spooks them.
Well, that's what we're having trouble up in that old neighborhood there for a while of some of the homeless were going into the backyard and stealing metal things to sell at the scrapyard. And a number of things just disappeared. And so we put up cameras, and I tried to get them set up and never did quite set up, but the cameras hung there in obvious sight and the stealing disappeared. Quit. And so I could have all I needed to do was just hang a camera where they could see it.
Yeah. Oh, we got a commenter here. Gary, Americans need to get less confrontational and much more conversational. Well, I agree with that, Fran. I agree.
That's what we're doing here.
That's what we're doing. Get on here and get conversationalizing with us.
We can get confrontational. We can get confrontational with each other. We're pretty good at beating each other over the head.
Especially when Maggot Man shows up. Let me see. Oh, now here comes Blue again. Let's try again. All right.
Still muted. Oh, there she up.
Hey, there she go. Yep.
Unmute. I keep hitting unmute and then it goes back on. Are you there now? Blue?
I'm here.
Blue? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I couldn't hear or see you guys before. I don't know what was going on. So
okay.
I thought there was no watch live button today, so I didn't know what you guys were even talking about.
There's no what button?
Live so you can see
Oh, your audio's strange.
It was just join or.
You're sounding like a tuning fork or something. Your audio is odd.
Well,
we got another comment from Gary. We all need to learn the lessons of history, and history has become ambiguous in recent days. Well, I like how you think, Gary. You come on here and talk to us. Anyway, Gary seems like a fine,
fairly reasonable person.
Chatter.
Well, until we get to discussing what's history.
Well, now, Blue, your mic's gone to mute again. It keeps going to mute.
I don't know what was the problem. It was like she tried to talk, and instead of talking, it was a little bell ringing.
Yes. It's like
it says a new one. I thought maybe it was the echo for a minute, but it's not the echo effect.
Well, no, it wasn't. her mic says mute. It's muted, but and when I click unmute, it won't let me do it. It won't let me unmute her.
Must be on her.
I'm going to have to go to just watch mode because I'm getting ready. We're doing a family Oktoberfest outing in a short while.
Oh, are you?
Oh,
Yep.
that's not. We'll just take your phone with you and show us what it looks like.
Yeah.
Well, it's
That'll
at
work.
the VFW. It's at the VFW, so I don't know, but I can take pictures and show you tomorrow.
Well, just be sure and you have just be sure, as my great uncle who used to run the Renfro Valley Barn Dance on Saturday nights.
Yeah.
He said, we have the kind of fun on Saturday night that we're proud of on Sunday morning.
Well, I've got a 2-beer limit, so that shouldn't be a problem.
Well,
Talk to you guys later.
The last time I partied at a VFW, man, I think I crawled home.
Yeah.
Some of them do. Bye-bye now.
Bye.
All right. Well, I think I'll go get my spaghetti together. I'm putting together a spaghetti sauce. I got to go stir.
Yeah, that's what I need to get something done.
I've done something. I know it's a mistake, but I just got so lazy as I didn't cook the beef ahead of time. I just put it in the slow cooker. It'll cook, but it'll be greasy.
Yeah.
Although I was thinking the beef was pretty lean. It was like 92%. So I'm thinking, well, maybe it's okay, because
you know, the hamburger and stuff you buy. I've got to where if I need to get out of town every once in a while, so I go back up to Kansas City, and there's a Mexican store up there, and what they do is they bring in a different quality of beef. It's probably a select, which is a leaner beef, and they slice it up the way the Mexicans want it, and they always have the trimmings that they grind up in hamburger and sell pretty reasonable, and they are probably better than 90% lean and just full of flavor. The meat is. It's good meat.
Despite being lean, because a lot of times they tell you to use 80-85% because it's got more flavor with that fat.
Well, usually if it's good quality, you get the flavor from the fat and stuff. But this is just a different kind. That's than what it's not the choice style beef that most Americans use.
Yeah.
And they buy it they buy a whole side of beef that's all been wrapped up and frozen, and they cut it right there. You can watch them cut it up right there on the band sauce. But it's good. It's good, and I don't know what the difference why it is. So I end up I go up there and I buy 3 or 4 pounds and bring it home and make hamburger patties and put it in the freezer.
Put it in the freezer, yeah.
I have my freezer. I have my big freezer so that I can go out and buy stuff. Now, the other thing is I buy the chicken breast up there, and they are about twice the size of an American chicken breast.
Oh, really?
They evidently let the bird get bigger or get a little older or whatever. And so I will bake them with some of that spice mix I was talking about and make kind of like shredded pork, only with the chicken breast. That makes good sandwich meat.
Do you use a slow cooker much or have one?
No, I basically have my little countertop convection oven. And I just put a little aluminum foil on it and set the temperature to about 250 and let it cook for a couple hours. Now, I will use a slow cooker once in a while, but to me, the microwave and that convection oven are my main cooking.
Yeah.
And a couple of skillets on the stove.
Yeah. The slow cooker is just so easy. That's that's what I like. You just load it up and turn it on and walk away.
Well, That I may have to start doing that because we were talking about my older sister that's about 10 years older than me, and we were all sitting around talking about wandering away from the stove and forgetting that we're cooking something. and so anyway, her boy come in, and he's about 55, and he came
Her boy.
in about we'd like to have a stove that would automatically shut off on us. And
You know
like,
that.
why do you need that?
That's a good idea, actually.
Yeah.
Can you do that with a gas stove?
I don't know. But we were just laughing at ourselves getting old.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's when I make dinner first. Tell David it's ready. He comes down. First thing he does is check the stove, make sure because half the time I haven't turned it off.
I just have it.
Yeah.
Put it on there.
Yeah. Well, I get in a hurry putting everything together, and then that's the last thing on my list, and sometimes I don't get around to it.
Well, or what I do is I get it on there and cooking, and I say, okay, and it's going to take a little bit to get to where I want it to be.
Yeah.
And then I wander into the living room and pick up a book and forget about it. But so what I try to do is do my dishes and my cooking at the same time. So I've got something that keeps me in the kitchen.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, I'm going to let you go, let you get to cooking.
All right. Always good chatting.
Okay. Bye.
So long.
Okay, I'm Lady Mau Mau, Craig's built-in emergency brake. If this wasn't enough for you, sign up for the newsletter. It's free, it's thoughtful, and it occasionally makes sense.